The long-running saga that has been who is the next running backs coach at Ohio State is over. They hired former Oregon running backs coach Carlos Locklyn as their running backs coach. And my thought here is Locklyn locked in is exactly what that kind of no-nonsense kind of running backs coach that room needs. He is Memphis Southern son of a gun like you read about, and he's going to speak to the fan base, speak to what you want. He is not the kind of man to be trifled with. Now, I'm going to get into this because I think Ohio State fans will feel this. They have thought this team was soft for the better part of 3 years. So much so that Ryan Day went at Lou Holtz's neck on a national broadcast after beating Notre Dame because he was feeling it. And Ryan Day has operated in this offseason like he does not want to take any prisoners. They have gone into the portal and been aggressive. They come out with Caleb Downs. They come out with Quinshon Judkins. They add Jeremiah Smith to the recruiting class. They go get 3 quarterbacks that could start for them on top of Devin Brown. And then when Tony Alford shocks them by going to that team up north in Michigan, they go to Oregon and they go get a guy that helped develop Bucky Irving, Noah Whittington, and Jordan James. But more than that, they got a dude who knows exactly what it is that Ohio State fans want to hear. So I posted this clip from Duck Digest about one Carlos Locklyn. He's interviewing, and he's talking about what he's about. And the money quote is, if you're a soft batch cookie, you got to get away from around me. And they got that bakery for that. Guess what it's called? The transfer portal. Dog, the old heads feel so good about this man who got arms like Bobby Lashley. They feel so good about this man who looked like Tookie after 7 years in. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? They feel so good about a man who, quite honestly, is like them. Like, they don't make nothing but hard-knuckled, coffin-nail bangers coming out of Memphis. And that man was a walk-on coach at the University of Memphis when Mike Norvell was head coach. Let me tell you about one, Carlos Locklyn. One of the reasons that I like him. Number one, he throw up the hooks. Some of y'all know what that means. Some of y'all don't know what that means. But for those of y'all know what that means, yeah, he's gold boots, got that brown on him because he be putting it up there. You know what I'm saying? All right, add this. He would show up to meetings fresh off of work wearing a bulletproof jacket. Why would my man need a bulletproof vest on when he's showing up for work? Because that dude was working as a correctional officer in the state of Tennessee. Understand what I'm saying? There ain't nothing that these children going to be able to do or say to him that's going to get under his skin. If anything, it's going to be him putting the fear of God into people. You know what I'm saying? And for this group of athletes, for those of us that deal with kids, no longer saying, where am I going to play, but how much am I going to get paid? This ain't him. That ain't what he's doing. And you know what? That is what Ryan Day wants to personify. He wants it running through a running backs room that is filled with talent, right? We know who Quinshon Judkins is. We know who Travion Henderson is. We know what Dallin Hayden can be, right? We know who James People could be about. But what you need is somebody who's going to crack a whip in there and tell everybody, look, I'm not giving you a damn thing. Go out here and get it. Go earn it. Any role you get as the running back at Ohio State to start is going to be one you won in spring and one you won in the summer and one you won in preseason and one you held on to throughout the season. Again, I love this. Dead ass. Love it. Couldn't love it more because I know what kind of man Carlos Locklyn is, and I know what kind of trajectory that the Ohio State Buckeyes are on. But what does this actually mean for Ohio State, right? That they got to do that cultivates and develops running backs, okay? I mentioned the guys that he had in the room, but it's worth pointing out. Oregon ranked 6th in the country last year in yards per carry at 5.52 per game, right? 2022, they averaged damn near 6, 5.91. He was running back coach both of those years. And then you take into account guys like Bucky Irvin had 1,000 yards rushing in 2022, 1,100 yards rushing in 2023. We know that Noah Whittington coming over from Western Kentucky was a boon for them. And Jordan James is set up to be the bell cow back at Oregon as they come into their first season of Big Ten play, which leads me to, what does this mean for Oregon? It means that you trail Ohio State already before you got to play them on October 24th. That's what it means. They went into your cookie pantry and came out with your cookies. You got a lot of money over there at Oregon. But you know what you ain't got over at Oregon? The pedigree that Ohio State has, the tradition that Ohio State has. It speaks to me that a man like Carlos Locklyn, who got it up out the mud, Memphis, Florida State, West Kentucky, Oregon, saw the job opening at Ohio State and said, I will make that lateral move to some, but not a lateral move to him. Because you could either take the surface level view of this, which is he believes that Ohio State is closer to winning a national championship than Oregon. Fair, right? Not out of the question, being that Ohio State was playing in the national championship game 3 years ago, right? But you also add in here, Ohio State wants it like nobody else wants it. And you get to see that by the money that they're willing to spend in name, image, and likeness. And the way that dudes don't really enter the portal and you miss them at Ohio State. They lost Jamison Williams to Alabama. Remember that? You know what they responded with? Marvin Harrison Jr. You get what I'm saying here? Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Smith, they out there with Brendan Ennis. Right? And I mentioned that running back room. But that's just what it is. The state could not be higher for Ryan Day. We know this. We know that it ain't going to matter what they did up until November 30th if they don't beat Michigan in Columbus this year. We know that Ohio State fans have had it up to here with how talented they are and what championships they think they should have won. Matter of fact, this is still a fan base to think that Urban Meyer didn't do enough winning just the one national championship with the talent that he had on, because you're going to get dudes at Ohio State. You're going to get them. We know this. But are you going to win every game you play and never lose to Michigan? Because that's the job, right? I think that Carlos Locklyn is going to do a whole hell of a lot to help Ryan Day and Chip Kelly and Jim Knowles do exactly that.
If you like what you've seen, consider subscribing to the #1 college football show on YouTube, the Fox Sports app, or wherever you get your podcast.